Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. Good to be with you today. So, the Biden administration now rolling towards their goal of a Green New Deal. The infrastructure package has about $140 billion worth of subsidies and government investment funds, subsidies for electric cars, subsidies for electric charging stations, a transformation of our utility grid, handouts to certain companies, slush funds for the Energy Department, and under the general grandiose goal of net zero emissions by some date certain, yet to be determined, but it's going to come on faster than anybody wants. Now, U.S. car makers are boasting that electric vehicles will be half of their sales by 2030, even though right now they're only 3%. Mind you, this whole exercise is a textbook case of massive central planning that is unprecedented in the history of this country. Instead of free markets and free choice, we're getting guidelines that will turn into mandates that will completely disrupt our entire transportation and energy and power systems all across the nation. It is a breathtaking endeavor that is doomed to fail. Why? Well, A, consumers don't want the high prices and the high costs. B, the U.S. does not even remotely have the resources to support this net zero emissions crusade. And C, people are already waking up to the enormous national security and military risks that this poorly thought out policy entails. There's an enormous amount to be said and discussed on this topic. We've already begun in prior shows. We will continue to express our opposition to the Green New Deal tonight, and you'll hear a lot more of opposition in the future. But let me make a few brief points. First, raising CAFE fuel standards, as Mr. Biden announced today, will significantly increase the cost of cars and trucks and significantly reduce automobile safety. These two reasons were the basis of the Trump administration's opposition to punitive CAFE fuel standards. Second, the Green New Deal utopians have no idea of the cost and difficulties of creating an entire new infrastructure, nor do they understand that building a new infrastructure will generate enormous carbon emissions by itself, nor do they understand that the minerals and materials that go into electric power and batteries and new electricity grids and so forth are simply not available to us. At the present time, the Biden administration is reducing access to minerals and oil and gas resources. Leases are being canceled at ANWR. The Keystone Pipeline was canceled. Far-left ideologues are in charge of the Energy and EPA and Interior departments. In order to generate battery-driven autos and anything else, we need minerals like nickel, cobalt, lithium, copper. Guess who has them? China. 95% of rare earths mining and processing is done in China. They have a monopoly. 45% of the world's supply of polysilicon necessary to build solar panels is done in China. And actually, in terms of these resources, China and the Belgian Congo are the biggest players. Of course, both employ slave labor, both employ child labor, both like human rights, and both lack any freedoms at all. Now, these Green New Deal utopians here at home do not realize that they will make the United States dependent on China and its ally, Belgian Congo. This is not something we want to do. This becomes a national security and military security issue. The recent bans by the Bidens on mining for all resources have decreased access to federal lands, and they seek to impose penalties on oil, gas, and coal producers. In short, the Biden administration has no planning for the massive investments necessary in critical minerals and this brand new infrastructure. Their hopes for a vast emissions reduction will decimate this country's consumers, businesses, factories, jobs, and the overall economy. Middle and lower income people will suffer the most from higher costs and lack of availability of power. There will be no resiliency. There'll be no guarantees. And look, folks, you can't have growth without power. Under the Trump administration, power was made cheap, accessible, and plentiful as the economy boomed. With the Bidens, it's exactly the reverse. Their utopian crusade is the most poorly planned effort probably in our history. And ironically, it is the central planners and the Washington regulators that are going to run this operation. But the planners are engaged in single-entry bookkeeping. On the one side, they want net zero emissions. But on the other side, they have made no plans, no organization for the kind of massive investments that would be necessary. Now, what this country ought to be doing is developing a broad policy that would generate larger and more diverse energy sources. We need to protect U.S. energy supplies. We need to increase the capacity to produce rare earths and minerals. And at the same time, we must foster an all-of-the-above strategy that includes renewable power sources developed by our vibrant and technologically advanced private sector companies, not government subsidies and industrial policies, which are always doomed to failure. We are not going to out-China China. In other words, in my judgment, it is neither desirable or even possible to achieve a Green New Deal with net zero emissions. Let me repeat this. It is not desirable or even possible. It is not in the interest of this country. It is not America first. It is America dependent on our rivals and our enemies. It is America losing its moral base and compass by relying on countries using slave labor without an ounce of democracy, without an ounce of freedom. And indeed, those countries happen to be our enemies. Let me repeat. The national security risk, the military security risk, the economic security risk are so huge that they literally threaten our future.